Welcome to Restorative Yoga. For today, you'll need your yoga mat, as always. You'll also need one bolster. If you don't have a bolster, a pillow or a couple of pillows might work as well, or a couch cushion. You'll need 1 to 2 folded blankets, and then 1 to 2 blocks. I would recommend getting 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can also use a book or 2 books of similar size. And if you don't have a folded blanket, you can try a towel. So let's get started. Let me move. And while I'm kind of getting myself situated and prepared, in restorative yoga, we will hold a particular posture for a couple of breath cycles. I will keep track of that time period and of course let you know when it is time to transition to the next posture, so that way you don't have to worry about that aspect of it. So let's get started. So however you want to get into it, come to lie on the mat. Get comfortable, opening the arms out, palms face up. The toes are splayed towards the corners of the room. Maybe closing the eyes here. Tuck the chin in very slightly. And we're going to do a balanced breath exercise for today. So I want you to first start by bringing an awareness to your breath for a couple of cycles. Simply notice the natural length of the inhalation and the exhalation. And don't try to modify or change anything about the breath just yet. Just noticing any eccentricities or quirkiness that might exist with your own breath. Notice its natural rhythm or its natural pace. Notice its natural depth even, right? Are you breathing very shallowly into the chest, or are you taking advantage of that deep diaphragmatic breathing? There's no right or wrong here. We're just bringing awareness to start. All right. Now, bringing the left hand to the chest, the right hand to the belly. I want you to take a deep inhale into the belly here. Feel the belly expand. And then exhale. A couple more times like that, just to get accustomed to this deep diaphragmatic 3-part breath. Inhale. Feel the belly expand. Chest rises. Exhale. Now relax the hands with the palms facing up, but maintaining that connection to the 3-part breath. We're gonna inhale to a count of 3. So inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause at the top of the breath and exhale for 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath out. And this time we're gonna inhale to a count of 4. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top of the breath and exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the bottom of the exhalation. And now we're going to inhale once again for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top of the breath. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the bottom of the breath. We're going to do a few more cycles just like this. Inhaling deep into the belly. Feel the belly expand. Chest rises for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top of the breath. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pausing at the bottom of the breath, keeping the breath out for just a second. And inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top of the breath. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the bottom of the breath. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top of the breath. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the bottom of the breath. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top of the breath. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the bottom of the breath. And now return back to your natural breath, inhaling and exhaling. When we are inhaling and exhaling in equal counts, we are bringing balance and calming the central nervous system. So again, if you ever feel overwhelmed in life, you can always sort of bring this into your daily life. You know, you can sit in your car while you're driving, and you can bring that awareness to your breath. Inhale for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. And help build that resilience, help build that sense of calm, that sense of peace. Because if we have a lower baseline for our anxieties and our tensions, because we're starting from a much calmer place, then we can handle the stresses that life throws at us. All right, fluttering the eyes open, wiggle the toes, move the fingers. Tend the knees skyward and come to lay in a fetal position, either on the left or right side, whatever works for you today. Take a deep inhale, open the mouth and sigh. Sighing is an excellent way to relieve stress, so feel free to use it every day. And press and come to sit up. All right. Glad we got that. Let's grab our bolster. Okay. And we're gonna leave our folded blanket at the top as a pillow. And I'm just gonna move this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna come to lay, actually grab a bolster and a block. Okay, I'm gonna put the block right here. So I'm gonna come to lay on my left side to start with. And I'm gonna stretch the left arm out. And so I'm laying on my left hip here. Grab the bolster and bend that right knee. So bring the right sole of the foot to the mat. And then allow the right knee to gently rest on top of the bolster. And you can play with it here a little, find what's comfortable. Maybe it's more comfortable to just put your whole right leg with the knee bent on top of the bolster here. Find what works for you. So the left hand is still stretched out with the palm skyward. And lastly, we have our block. And again, figure out what setting feels good for you. Maybe it feels good for you to just sort of rest the right hand on top of the bolster next to the knee. If that works for you, more power to you, feel free. But if you're looking for something else here, then feel free to place the right hand on top of the block. And we're now going to start our first restorative posture. So settle into this position, maybe close the eyes. Again, connecting to that breath, that 3-part breath that we talked about. Maybe even implementing that breath meditation that we started with, that breath exercise, inhaling for 4 and then exhaling for 4. And just settle in here. I will keep track of the time and I'll let you know when we will need to transition to the next posture. Of course, in yoga, we want to try and be as inclusive as possible. And this particular restorative practice is, of course, for everybody to partake and enjoy and take what you may from it. But I just would like to note that this particular set of asanas we're going to do is really geared towards helping during a moon cycle. So if you find yourself on your moon cycle and you want to get into something and want something a little gentle, I hope that this will help. Coming back. Let's push the block away from us. And pressing into the bolster, let's push the right knee up so that it is skyward, coming to lie on the back. And from here, one way you can transition to the next posture is to just sort of slide the bolster to the other side of the body. I'm going to turn my body just so you can see a little bit better. So, but of course, you can just feel free to slide the bolster over to the other side so that we can stretch into the right side this time. Okay, so starting here, we're going to come to lay on the right side of the body. The right arm is stretched out with the palm facing up. And I'm gonna grab my bolster and bring it up towards my torso. And I'm gonna tent my left knee skyward. And then I'm gonna allow the left knee to come onto the bolster. And again, whatever you did on the other side, experiment, try it out on this side. So again, if you want to place the left hand on top of the bolster, maybe you want to just place it on the mat in front of your heart. Maybe you want to grab the block as you did on the other side and rest the left hand on top of the block. Whatever works for you here. After all, these props are here to help you support your body through this practice, to hold the various postures. So once you've kind of settled in, close your eyes and just enjoy this particular asana. Enjoy this posture, enjoy this moment. Even though in restorative yoga we will hold the posture via the support of our props, we of course never want to hold the breath, so stay connected to that 3-part breath. Maybe even staying connected to that breath work that we did at the beginning. Inhaling for 4, exhaling to a count of 4. If you find your mind is wandering, just bring it back to the breath. Restorative yoga is it's essentially the antithesis of Western civilization, Western sort of culture that dictates that we go, go, go and do. And so that's what makes it so healing and so magical to slow down and to intentionally do nothing. Coming back, slide the block away, rolling the left knee off of the bolster, come to lie on the back. Excellent. And from here, grabbing your blocks, just kind of have them handy on either side of your mat. But before we sort of do that, I want to inhale the arms over, interlacing the fingers, crossing the thumbs, steepling the forefingers, and point the toes. Nice long stretch here. Breathe deeply into the diaphragm. Exhale, rounding through the spine, bringing the forehead to the knees and the knees to the chest. Inhale, stretching nice and long. Exhale, knees to the chest, forehead to the knees, rounding the spine. Inhale, stretching one more time. Exhale, knees to the chest, forehead to the knees, round the spine. Releasing the head to the folded blanket. Rock the body a little side to side. Massaging through the kidneys and the adrenal glands here. And then I want you to imagine you're making little circles in the ceiling with your knees. So holding onto the shins here, just making little circles in one direction with the knees. Right, just doing a little bit more massage into that lower back. Again, breathing deeply. The breath is life, it is prana, it is energy, it is light, it is love. And now reverse the circling of the knees in the opposite direction. Excellent. Bring the knees to stillness. Stretch the left leg out, flexing both feet. Hug the right knee into the chest here. And switch, stretching the right leg out, hug the left knee into the chest here. Couple more times on each side. So switch, stretching the left knee out, hugging the right knee in. One more time. Hugging the left knee in, stretching the right leg out. And last time on each side, so stretching the left leg out, hug the right knee in. And switch, stretching the right leg out, hug the left knee in. Okay. Stretching both legs out. Let's start with the right leg first. So bending the right knee, left leg is still straight. Bending the right knee skyward, bringing the sole of the right foot on the mat. Having that block handy, and again, you might want to play with the level to see what works for you, but gently allow the right knee to float onto that block and bring the block so that it can adequately support that right leg. And essentially we are coming into a tree pose, but lying down on the earth. So the sole of the right foot can be above or below the left knee here, whatever works for you. I leave that to your discretion. And then if you want, you can open the arms out. You can bend at the elbows, placing the hands sort of on either side of the head, whatever works for you here. If you want to do a particular mudra with the fingers, feel free. And then just breathing here into this tree pose, closing the eyes. I will again keep track of the time. I'll let you know when it's time to transition to the next posture. So just close the eyes, enjoy this moment in time, in your tree pose. I'm also going to play my bowl for you. Coming back, let's transition to our next posture. So bringing the right knee skyward once more. The right sole of the foot touches the mat. Maybe even flexing through both feet. Hug the right knee in one more time. Give it a nice good squeeze here. And then stretch that leg out. Grabbing your block, we're going to come into tree pose on the other side. So bringing the left knee skyward. Left sole of the foot comes on the mat. And then floating the left knee to meet the block. And the left sole of the foot will meet the right leg either above or below the knee. And again, you can exalt your tree however you like. If you want the arms overhead or by the sides, or you want to do a particular mudra, that's fine, whatever you want to do. Maybe you just want the arms out with the palms facing up, that's fine too. Whatever works for you here in this moment. Settle in, close the eyes, stay connected to the breath. We might be holding this tree posture, but we are certainly not holding the breath. And I will begin to play my bowl for you. Back. Let's transition to our next posture. Bringing the left foot to rest on the mat. tuck the knee skyward. Hug that left knee in one more time. Flexing through both feet. And release. And then bending both knees skyward. Come to rest in a fetal position on the left or right side. And then press to sit up. Excellent. Let us transition to our next posture. So grabbing your blocks. Let's grab our blanket and place it in front of the blocks. And we're gonna stack the blocks like so at one side of the mat. Grab your bolster and place it on top of the stacked blocks. And then the blanket is gonna be in front of the bolster. Okay, come to sit on the blanket. And to start with, we can stretch the feet out in front of us, and the feet are flexed. Placing the palms at the corners of the bottom of the bolster. Bend through the elbows and slowly lower the torso to meet the bolster. And from here, if you want to bring the soles of the feet together to touch, you can do that if that's comfortable. If not, I recommend just keeping them stretched out in front of you. And tuck the chin in very slightly here to elongate the back of the neck. And release the arms out to the sides with the palms facing up. Close the eyes. Settle into this gentle chest opener. I'm going to play one of my other bowls for the heart chakra while we are here in this beautiful heart opener. placing the palms underneath the lower back here, pressing into the bolster. Press into those palms, bringing the chin to the chest, bending through the elbows until you come back to a seated posture. Let's grab our bolster and transition into our next posture, moving the blocks off of the mat. So we want to bring the bolster so that it is vertical, and place it sort of maybe about an inch or two away from our folded blanket. And we're gonna bring the tops of our feet on top of the folded blanket. We're essentially gonna come into a child's pose on top of the bolster. So the tops of the feet are resting on the blanket. We've created a beautiful V shape here with the thighs, and the bolster intersects the thighs about midway, the corners do. From here, press into the bolster and just look up a little. Tall spine, tuck the chin in, and then walk the hands up the bolster, hugging the bolster towards your torso, and then bringing either the left ear to the bolster or the right ear to the bolster. The arms are on either side of the bolster, resting on the mat, palms face down. And just settle in here. Take a deep inhale and sigh. And see if you can maintain that inhale and exhale that we practiced at the beginning. So close the eyes, inhale for a count of 4, hold the breath, exhale for a count of 4, holding the breath out at the bottom. I will keep track of the time. The mind will constantly wander throughout your practice, and that's okay. But we can choose our thoughts, choose how our mind wanders by utilizing little tools in our toolbox, like the breath. My yoga teacher used to always say that the body follows the mind, but the mind follows the breath. And I have found that to be very true, because your mind tells your body what to do, what posture to be in, to hold that posture. But the mind can feel tension and stress and angst and anxiety. But if we use the breath, if we focus the mind on the breath, then we can become a master of our mind, of our thoughts. And so just connect here with the breath, even if it's just your natural breath of noticing, oh, I'm inhaling, oh, I'm exhaling, or connecting to that breath practice that we utilized in the beginning. Inhaling for a count of 4, holding the breath, exhaling for a count of 4, holding the breath out. It's very healing and cleansing to the nervous system to employ that tool in our toolbox. And so just enjoy the support of this child's pose. Feel the nurturing of this child's pose. If you've had a particularly stressful day, feel free to come onto your mat, Feel free to come into this supported child's pose on top of the bolster. Feeling that sense of safety, that sense of security. Coming back, let's transition to our final posture. So bringing the palms under the shoulders, pressing into those palms, pushing up, and coming back up. Now let's transition to our final posture. And for this one, I'll let you kind of decide what works for you. And we'll stay in Shavasana for about 5 minutes today. So if you want, you can use your folded blanket as a pillow and come to lie on the back. Stretching the legs out, arms come out to the sides, or if you want, my favorite is grabbing that bolster, swinging the legs over the bolster so that the heels touch the mat, and then the lower back it sort of naturally flattens, so you don't have that little arch in the lower back, and so the back and the mat sort of meet here. It's very holistic. And then of course the knees are supported with the bolster. So whatever works for you here. Settle in. Maybe make any last minute adjustments, movements, whatever that looks like. Arms come out, palms face up. Take a deep inhale. Open the mouth and exhale. Close the eyes. Relax the jaw, relax the face, relax the top of the head. Relaxing through the chest and back, relaxing the arms and fingers, relaxing the legs, relaxing the toes, the lips part slightly. Softening the eyes, softening the outer body, awakening, enlivening the inner body, letting go of anything old, anything that's holding you back, anything that's not helpful anymore. Welcoming the new, welcoming light and love. Coming back to the breath. Just observe the breath. Observe each inhalation and exhalation. Without trying to change anything, without judgment. Imagine in your mind's eye that you are laying in a beautiful meadow. The sky is blue. The sun is warm. You can feel the gentle heat on your skin. But you don't feel hot or sweaty. You feel the gentle breeze of the wind on your cheek. And if you have any thoughts, you just allow them to pass you by, just like the clouds overhead, floating by. Just enjoy this moment in this meadow as you lie on your blanket, looking up at the clouds. Not getting attached to any one particular shape, just observing as they float by. Coming back. If you have the bolster under your knees, simply bring the soles of the feet on top of the bolster. Maybe push the bolster away and come to lie in a fetal position on the left or right side. Take a deep breath here. Keeping the eyes closed, come to sit up in a Sukhasana easy posture. Feel free to sit on the bolster or the blanket, whatever you might need to be comfortable, and take your time here. Soft smile, sitting up nice and tall, crown of the head rises, tucking the chin in very slightly here. Fluttering the eyes open, welcome back. Inhale, let's make a big circle with the arms, the palms touch overhead. Exhale, drawing the palms down the midline to rest against the sternum at the heart center. And let's close our practice with an Om. Inhale. Feeling gratitude for yourself for taking this time. Feeling gratitude for each other. Feeling gratitude for this practice. From my heart to yours, thank you again for joining me. Please feel free to drop a comment, like, subscribe. Feel free to support us on Patreon so we can continue bringing you these videos. Until we meet again, from my heart to yours, namaste. Thank you very much for joining me today.